Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Footprints. I'm your host, Anthony Davis. I'm an educator at BHS, that's Beverly High School for those folks who don't know. And joining me today is someone who I've been waiting to get on my podcast for a long, long time, and I'm glad he could make the time to be here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Derek Grundy, COO of HuaLi Industrial Group, and it's part of the Nike division that he's in, right? Which is unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Derek Grundy to the show today. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Tony. It's a pleasure to be here.
Listen, the pleasure's all mine, believe me. We're going to talk a little bit about you and your history and how you got involved and why you're in the footwear industry. But let's give a little history on Derek a little bit. This is really cool. I read this. He's a 20-year footwear industry executive, which we love. He's serving as the chief operating officer for HuaLi Industry Group. We talked about that. HuaLi. That's right, HuaLi. He actually talked about that too before.
No problem. You're close. You're close.
Phonetically,
it's not the easiest name.
Yeah, I'm a little nutty. Derek is currently leading and overseeing the P&L operations for 5 Vietnam factories. Oh my gosh. Within the northern province of what? That is
Thanh Hoa province. Yeah, north of Vietnam.
Wow. There are 50,000 employees that this guy has to deal with on a, well, I wouldn't say deal, but he has to lead them, ladies and gentlemen. And it's awesome to be able to do that, right? Before Derek's 6 years at HuaLi, he spent 10 years at Reebok, which was pretty cool, with various leadership positions in the U.S. and also abroad in Vietnam. Besides his footwear endeavors, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. I love this part. Derek is the owner of Grundy Property Group in the U.S. and co-owner of HD Sneak Cleaner in Vietnam. Wow. He's an investor within the craft beer industry. Got to have one of those, right? I need to have a pop. And at the Heart of Darkness and Rockport Brewing. Oh my gosh. All right, so let's put this in perspective. Derek, ladies and gentlemen, was educated at Dartmouth, right? That's number one, and had MBA and BS in sports management from Endicott College. We love Endicott. We know where Endicott is, ladies and gentlemen. It's right around here, right? We also played basketball. And he has been married for 16 years to his lovely wife, Sarah, which is awesome, right? And has 2 sons. I believe Brendan, 13, and Colin, 8, right? And they both love basketball, ladies and gentlemen. So, I set this guy up really nicely today, and we're going to have a great conversation. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome Derek Grundy to the show. And right off the bat, Derek, I'm going to ask you, tell us something about yourself that nobody knows.
Oh, something that nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Let me think. Okay, so here's one. In 2016, I was on a business trip in Korea. I was in Seoul, Korea, and I was walking around the street, and there was this group of people engaging in some type of TV show, and my Korean friend said, wow, this show is so popular, it's called Running Man. We should go over there and see what they're doing. So when we walked over there, they pointed to me and said, hey, you, come here, come join us. And they put me onto the show, basically, to see if I could guess how to sing a particular Korean song.
Okay.
And about a month went by, and I kind of forgot about that interaction. But one day I woke up, and I had about 100 text messages from different Korean friends. And they said, Derek, is that you on the Running Man TV show in Korea? And I tried to think, what the heck are they talking about? But apparently this is the #1 television show in Korea in terms of reality show, and the people who run that show are former famous actors or singers. And I ended up on that show in Korea.
How great is that, right? A chance meeting, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, I'm on this TV show, this most popular show in Korea.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, we just learned something new about Derek Grundy today. I love that. I love that. Let's talk a little bit about your influences, right? Let's talk a little bit about how footprints were imprinted on you as a young kid, right? Your dad was a plumber, and also a marathon runner. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So my dad was a plumber. He still is a plumber. He's 73 years old, and he continues to work because I think he just loves to work. That's his identity. That's what he loves to do. But growing up as a kid in Rhode Island, my dad was also an elite level, like professional level marathon runner.
Wow.
So I grew up around sport and athletics was so important to me and my family because of my dad's influence. And he was actually in the Olympic trials in Niagara Falls in 1980 in the marathon.
Wow.
And in that particular marathon, he was the only blue collar worker that was also a professional level runner. So he used to do a 8 to 12 hour day every day with my grandfather as a plumber, and then he would go out and do his long runs.
Wow.
Oftentimes he would leave the job site and run 20 miles to get home after
amazing.
work.
After working.
After work.
Oh my goodness.
So he, in terms of work ethic, he's the best I've ever seen. And I also thought at that time when I was young, everyone's parents must be doing this kind of workout or exercise. And then I realized, wait, my dad's very special and very different. So he really inspired me and my siblings to go after our dreams for sport. And my sport ended up being basketball.
No doubt, no question. Now you said siblings, brothers and sisters. How many do you have?
Yeah, my sister is 2 years younger than me. She was a Division I runner at Vermont.
All right.
University of Vermont. My brother is 6 years younger than me, Tom Jr. My dad's name's Tom too.
Yeah.
And Tommy was also a very good athlete, basketball, and he also went to Endicott College like myself.
Yeah.
And he did his MBA at Endicott as well.
Oh my goodness, how about that? That's amazing stuff right there, ladies and gentlemen, we just learned. Mom was a teacher, right?
Yeah. My mom was a teacher for over 30 years in the Head Start system in Providence, Rhode Island. And as a kid, she would always have me join her in the school. So at a young age, I started to realize the importance of giving back, especially to underprivileged children.
Right.
And that I believe that really led me to dedicate my time and my values towards the Big Brothers program, which I've been a Big Brother for over 20 years.
Wow.
My little brother, who's now 30 years old,
that's amazing.
He's from Beverly, grew up in Beverly, one street away from here, graduated from Beverly High School, went to college, now is a father.
Wow.
Alex, his name's Alex. He was actually at our wedding, and we stay in touch very frequently, even 20 years later.
That's amazing. So think about this for a minute. The footprints that your parents put on you for that work ethic that you saw your father do, and your mom's a teacher, right? That inspired you to do what you're doing now. And now you're paying back, you're giving back, and that's a beautiful thing, right? Because I can tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, the leadership that he talks about and will talk about, his philosophy, is amazing. Resiliency, we talk about emphasizing kindness and things like that. We're going to get into that a little bit. I have something I want to relate to you. I want to tell you this story really quickly, how we got here. So a couple years ago, I was a leadership teacher. I was teaching that class, and I gave, ladies and gentlemen, a assignment to my class. And the assignment was we're watching the movie Pay It Forward. Have you ever seen that movie?
I have, yeah.
All right, so the concept obviously is the 7th grade social studies teacher challenges his class to change the world. And one kid, Trevor, takes it literally. The character is Haley Joel Osment, right? And Helen Hunt's in it, and Kevin Spacey. He's the 7th grade social studies teacher. So anyway, we're watching the movie, and something dramatic happens in the movie. By the way, the Pay It Forward movement was ridiculously crazy because there was a reporter that ran it down from another state, said, where did this come from, right? And so the concept is, I'm gonna do 3 random acts of kindness for 3 people who can do nothing for me, and then they're gonna do it for 3 other people, and so on. It grows exponentially, right? So anyway, something dramatic happens toward the end of the movie, and a lot of the kids are like, oh my God, Mr. Davis, why'd you show us this movie? I said, wait a minute. Don't focus on what happened in the movie, focus on what the kid did. Yeah. He made this huge movie, and he started this whole thing that, unbeknownst to him, he was touching all these people, right? Yeah. Which is a beautiful thing. Right? So anyway, I told the kids in my class, I said, now your assignment is to write me an essay of how you would pay it forward to someone who can do nothing for you. Yeah. Right? And the stuff I got back, Derek, oh, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. While that was going on, our principal, Mr. Thomas, sent around an email to the staff that said, hey, BevCam is looking for teachers to provide content. And I always wanted to do a podcast, right? I didn't know what it would be on. And I started thinking about how that impacted me, the assignment I gave the kids and how it impacted them. And here we are with Footprints, ladies and gentlemen. That is the name of my podcast, and that's how we got here, right? And I remember what Maya Angelou always said, do the best you can until you know better. And then when you know better, do better. Yeah. And so that's one of the things I always carried with me as an educator. And it's something that I'm sure you do as a leader, right? Leading all these people. It's amazing to think that you're doing that. And I really love the fact that you are. All right, let's talk a little bit about you and your leadership skills. Tell me, you've emphasized kindness. We talked a little bit about that as leadership. How do you balance empathy with the hard metrics of large-scale manufacturing?
Yeah, it's not simple, but you have to find the balance. And what you just said about pay it forward is really my philosophy on leading, because I believe that there's a concept, and there's a book about this called Give and Take. So in this world, there's people who give, there's people who match, and there's people who take. And there's actually evidence and studies showing that the more you give throughout your lifetime, the more successful you end up being in the long run. And I think that is a key point of leadership, because you need to be kind to people, listen to people, get to understand them, understand their motivations, and you can only do that by listening and giving your time without asking anything specific in return. But you start to know the people and inspire them to do better. And I think that really helps to motivate people when leaders can spend time with their team. And make them feel like they're part of something bigger. And one of the quotes that I always love is, people don't remember what you say, but they always remember how you make them feel.
Oh, no question.
And in a large scale organization, to do that, you have to set a culture. You have to be consistent with that type of behavior. So that's what I try to do. And I also don't want to confuse like kindness with weakness. You still need to create structure and goals and tracking and all those things. But I think people, whether that's on a team, sports team, or in business, they can relate to people being kind to them and being genuine, to really listen to them. And I think that creates passion in the job, and then it pulls them in the direction of giving their best effort.
Oh, without a doubt. I agree with that 100%. There's no question that if you're kind to someone and you're able to really pull out what they're really feeling, you're going to get their best effort no matter what it is that they're doing. You're right, 100%. Can you describe a time when you think when kindness led to like a measurable business impact across your factories?
Yeah, I think one of our strategies right now that we have within our Nike division at HuaLi is called localization. So how can we allow our local talent, meaning Vietnamese people, to really elevate themselves and see themselves as future leaders of the company? Because we do have many foreign workers that work within our factory group. These workers are called expats. I'm one of them. We go to a foreign country, we work there, we manage, we become the leaders. I have Taiwanese, I have some Chinese that work on my team based in Vietnam. But for the long-term future, we know that we're working in Vietnam. This is their country. We need to set them up for success, and we need to also make them believe that they can go to a higher level. So I think you can only get there by spending time with these people. And that's what I focus a lot of my time on, spending time with our high potential Vietnamese talent. So we have like a women's leadership program where we focus on women that are leaders in our production facilities. And then we also create different training programs for them, like digital language training programs. And we provide this to them as a benefit. not as like homework or a task,
Yeah.
but hey, we want you to be better. And us as leaders, we're willing to do these extra things for our local talent because we want you to be the future leaders. So I spend a lot of my time doing that and getting to know the people.
And that's an investment in those people.
Yeah.
And once you do that, you're going to be able to get their best effort, no matter what it is that you're involved in, right?
For sure.
And that's the beauty of it. So now you oversee 5 factories in Vietnam with India expansion on the horizon, right?
Yep.
So now, what have you been? What has been basically the top 3 scaling hurdles that you've kind of come across, and how have you kind of smashed through those?
Yeah, that's a good question. In terms of scaling a business, you need to go through the experience of doing that. And when you do that, you fail many times.
Hell yeah. No
So
doubt.
you need to understand what are the potential pitfalls. And I think one of them as a leader, when you try to scale up, is you try to do too much of the work on your own. So in order to scale, you need to build a team that you can empower and trust. So you need to be very careful at defining everyone's role, make sure you're all on the same page. And then you can trust the people to do the work. Because really, it doesn't matter how good you are, you can't do everything.
That's right.
One guy can't win a basketball game.
That's right.
You know, it's a similar concept. So I would say that is probably number 1. Number 2 is like understanding how and why you make decisions. This is rooted in strategy. And my old boss, she told me, strategy is the heartbeat of decision making. So when you have a decision in front of you, your strategy should inform what you're going to do or what you're not going to do.
Right.
So being strategic and setting up strategic priorities that you understand, but also your organization understands, I think is so critical in scaling.
No doubt.
Or else it will take too long to make decisions.
Oh yeah.
You know,
sure.
you need to go quick when you're trying to grow a business. And the third one is, and I think this is most important, and there's quotes about like, culture eats strategy for business, for breakfast. And that's because culture is defined by the tone that the leadership sets in terms of the core values
For sure.
of how people should behave,
Yeah.
what type of passion and priorities people have. And I think setting this culture is top down, and you need to spend time to cultivate that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
create that environment. And
Without a
luckily, my leaders, my management above me that I report to, they do a great job with that. And then I can then proliferate that to the team. And I think it just helps things become more efficient
Wow.
when you're trying to grow.
Oh, for sure. Without a doubt. I like that a lot. And you're right. I mean, that's the way that you expand, by being able to empower the people to be able to do their job, right? And that's the beautiful part about leadership and what you're doing over there. Ladies and gentlemen, Derek mentioned that he played basketball. He played basketball at Pingree School for, I believe, right?
I coached at Pingree.
Oh, you coached at Pingree.
After Endicott.
After
But I
Endicott.
grew up playing basketball in Rhode Island.
He did indeed. But you
And
did
then
the Hoop
Endicott.
Mountain with Steve Gibbs, right?
Yep.
And that's
Yep.
kind of the connection there we got, right? Going
Exactly.
on. Side note, Derek, 20 years ago, was also on my summer league basketball team
That's right.
in Gloucester a long, long time ago.
Yep.
And there were some really, really great players there. Derek Grundy was on that team. Sam Evans was on that team, right? Josh Oxton was on that team.
Yeah.
And we had a good time playing in the summer in Gloucester. And I really appreciate you being able to do that.
Thanks,
This
man.
is
Some
like
of
a
the
full-
best memories.
Well, and this is great. This is a full circle moment for me. I really love it. Let's think about navigating through COVID, because you actually had to do that. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you like our content, please subscribe to Spotify, YouTube channel here at BevCam. And also, you can check out all the content on www.footprintsimpact.com, which is my website. Navigating disruptions, really tough, right?
Yeah.
Hard. And you as a COO, man, that must be really difficult. So COVID kind of threw like supply and demand and change into chaos and all that stuff, right? So what unexpected lessons from that period will still kind of shape like your current situation?
This is a great one. COVID threw us some curveballs. Now the tariff situation is throwing us curveballs. Macroeconomic factors are throwing us curveballs. But what I'll say is going through COVID as a leader in a large organization is probably better than any MBA program that you can go through because it's real time and you need to make some real decisions that impact the business and impact people.
No question.
So I feel fortunate to have gone through it because of the learnings. And the key learning that I've found for myself and for our team is being able to adapt, being able to be nimble and pivot when needed. So that was what COVID was about. Our chairman at the time said, don't waste this crisis. And I had to think about, what does he mean by that? But what he meant is there's instability going on right now. Don't just sit back and complain and say, oh, this is tough. Use that time to do some different things that you might not ordinarily do when there's not a crisis, such as strengthen the fundamentals, work on training, think about the future, think about how you can do things more efficient in terms of process. And because we did those things during COVID, when we came out of COVID, we started to perform even better than before. And it almost set the tone for elevation of our culture. To always be ready to be adaptable and have that mindset. And now going into the tariff situation in present day, I feel like we're more ready for that because we're like, hey, we got through COVID, we can get through this.
Exactly.
You know, that is what builds resilience. Is going through tough things. You know, people are like, how do you become resilient? After you have to go through some things that aren't easy. And you're not going to plan that, but it's going to happen. And then it's based on how you get through those things and how you develop your mindset. And then that's how you have resilience. So that happened during COVID.
And look how you guys came out of it. You said even better. It's almost like a slingshot or a boomerang effect. Boom, we're going to move forward and we're going to do even better before COVID, right? And that's the beautiful part of having great leadership like yourself there. It really is.
Thank you.
With a team of 50,000, oh my gosh, how do you stay visible on the ground, first off? That's really important. And what does Gemba mean? Is that a word?
Yes, you're right. Gemba. So I'm the person that wants to be visible. I want to be near the people as much as possible. So to do that with 50,000 people, you need to have a system and you need to prioritize your time very well. So I make it a point throughout the week to try to be at multiple different locations and go into the factory setting, walk around, say hello to people, ask them questions in terms of what do you think we can improve, and just kind of touch the heart of the people. And one concept that I use, and it's well known in manufacturing leadership settings, is called Kaizen, which in Japanese that means continuous improvement. And part of Kaizen is Gemba, the word that you just mentioned, means go to the place. Because you really can't understand what's going on from your desk or from working remote. In a factory setting where there's this amount of scale, you actually have to go to the place and ask the people who have their hands on the product, hey, what is going on here and what can we do to get better? Of course, we can analyze data from the desk and look at that, but you also need the qualitative part where your finger is on the pulse so you can understand how things are going and like really how people feel.
Wow, that's amazing to me that you guys are doing that type of stuff and really impacting the world, man. Those footprints are huge. So you partnered with Elsa for English, right? All right, for English training to empower so the local teams, right? How much ROI do you see in sort of soft skill training in terms of efficiency, innovation, or even retention?
The ROI is infinite. Because when you invest in like digital learning programs, the people can work on those programs wherever and whenever they want. So that the financial cost burden is very low compared to what they get out of it. So every quarter we have about 100 high potentials that have access to the ELSA app that you just mentioned. This is an app to improve their English speaking ability. And because it's digital, myself, our HR team, and leaders, we can track their progress. How many hours are they studying? How have they improved? And then we use that information not to give anyone like a grade, but we use it to recognize outstanding achievement.
Oh, for sure.
And in that, the ROI of that is infinite, because that makes people have pride in their job and have passion. And that kind of feeling will lead to retention and lead to those people becoming the next leaders in our organization.
Oh, no question.
So the ROI is off the charts.
Off the charts
Yeah,
on
it's
that
off
one.
the
We
charts.
like that one.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you, this guy, I am so happy that he's here sharing this information and leading these people the way he is. And Nike's obviously a leading footwear, company. And for you to be really doing the things you're doing with those folks down there is amazing. It really is. Now, footwear manufacturing is kind of under scrutiny a little bit sometimes, right? Because of the environmental impact.
Yeah.
And it's amazing what you guys are doing in terms of impacting the world. I mean, that's really what it is.
It's a very meaningful part of the job, and that provides purpose to the why.
Yeah.
Like, why do we work in this industry?
Exactly. Why are we in it,
That's a
right?
big part. That's a very fulfilling part of the job. Making shoes is cool, and shipping them out in the boxes is cool, but I think the impact that you can make on people and in the world and the environment, that is paramount in my opinion.
I love it. And that's the footprints you guys are leaving as you're doing that type of work. Now, there's like emerging technologies like AI and stuff like that. Do you guys incorporate any of that stuff as you're going through your daily routine with manufacturing this footwear?
Yeah, we're starting to. We have digital investments, especially to track data, and then not just track the data, but use those tools to make decisions. And AI is all the craze right now.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out how we can best do that in a meaningful way.
Oh, for sure.
I have younger kids and even some younger employees, and they live in AI, and they use GPT and all that stuff. And the only thing that I'll say here is I think there's a place for AI, and that is going to accelerate beyond what we can even comprehend right now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm also telling my kids, do not substitute that for hard work.
Exactly.
You still need to know things, know how to do things, know the background information of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not let the AI do the thinking for you, but use it as a tool to be more efficient. So I think that goes for like our personal life and probably in the workplace too. We don't want to be too over-reliant on it, but we definitely don't want to ignore technology.
Oh, for sure.
Or we'll end up like BlackBerry.
That's right.
They said no one will ever use a screen. Everyone wants to use these little keys, but we don't want to go in that direction.
No. I hear you. You're right. And it's a great tool and a great resource to use to help us, do our jobs even better than before. Right now, I want to talk a little bit about your personal journey and your career, right? Because you've come full circle, man, in terms of what you've done. And you talked about you like not making any money, and you were working for this company, and you were selling these kind of footwear, water shoes, and all this stuff, and now your current role as COO. What were sort of the growth inflection points of your path, your journey? How did you see? Did you see this coming, or did you not?
No, I didn't see it coming. In terms of the journey, now I look back and I feel very fortunate to have gone through the journey. And I love the title of your podcast, Footprints, because the footprints inform the journey. But actually, you don't map it out.
No,
you just go through it, and it leads to something.
Exactly.
So something very incredible that we're talking about this topic. Right after I graduated from Endicott, I lived right there on 20R Dane Street. I lived in an apartment. It was like $700 a month.
Nice.
And my wife now, we were dating at the time, she also lived there. She had graduated as a nurse from Endicott. She was supporting us. And I was like, hey, I want to take this sales job for this water shoe company There's no salary. It's all commission, and it's very hard to sell this product in around 2005. So I was trying to sell this shoe out of that apartment right down the street. And I was emailing running stores. I was calling NFL, NBA teams about this particular shoe where the athletes wear this shoe to train in the pool for low impact workouts and aquatic fitness. And I took this job because I just so desperately wanted to enter into the footwear industry. A lot of my other friends were like going into finance, insurance. They're like, hey, this is stable. We get benefits, all this stuff. But I'm like, I don't really have interest in that.
Right.
I want to pursue this venture in footwear, and this opportunity came up because my uncle introduced me to some people who were starting up that company. My uncle was a footwear veteran at Nike for over 20 years.
Wow.
So he also inspired me in terms of the industry.
I love it.
So then I did that job. It was very slow in terms of growing the company, but we did start to grow, and they asked me and my wife, we weren't even engaged at that time, but asked us, hey, would you be willing to move from 20R Dane Street, Beverly to Oregon and live in Portland, Oregon?
Holy smokes,
and
man.
help set up our first office, warehouse, website, so we can sell this shoe online. And I did it. And I jumped over there for 3 years.
Wow.
Learned all about the industry, not just sales, but how to make shoes in Asia, how to do the accounting, how to deal with customer service. They ended up giving me some equity in the company.
All right.
And it was an incredible experience to get in the door of the footwear industry, which ultimately led to Reebok reaching out to me 3 years later and saying, hey, we have a position that might suit you back in Boston in men's training footwear. The job was called product line manager.
Amazing.
And I didn't know anything like about that role, but I said, yeah, sure, I'll take an interview. And they flew me to Canton, Massachusetts, where Reebok was based. And that's when I entered the corporate world of the footwear industry. And I spent 10 years at Reebok. And I met 2 of my top mentors in the world, Todd Krinsky, who was on Netflix right now. If you watch the Reebok documentary with Shaq, Todd Krinsky is the COO of Reebok. He's one of the key figures in that documentary.
I will definitely,
right
that's
now.
on my list right now. I'm going to watch
Shaq,
that.
Iverson, and Todd are the 3 main characters. Angel Reese is also one of the top characters. But I met him, and I met my other mentor, Scott Daly, who hired me into Reebok. And they've been there for me throughout all the footprints, including when I told them, hey guys, I think I might need to leave Reebok now and join a factory group that makes Nike. I actually had to ask them about it, and they fully supported me, and we still stay in touch now.
See, that's great. That to me, ladies and gentlemen, that's a path that you just have to follow, right? You don't know where it's going, but you have faith in yourself, and you love what you do. So you pour into it and you hope it works out. And look at this, it has for you, unbelievably. I am so excited that you were here today to tell your story. Because everybody has a story to tell, ladies and gentlemen. And I'd like to know what yours is. So keeping with that same thing, what daily habits keep you sharp and engaged and sort of grounded in the industry itself?
Yeah, I think some of the habits, like I mentioned before, I think being successful in any occupation or even sports, which I'm trying to teach my kids right now, is about consistency.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to figure out your priorities, and I call them ruthless priorities, are the ones that you need to do, like working out at least 5 days a week. Because I think like if you can keep in good condition, you feel good about yourself, that's going to help your mind.
Absolutely.
It's going to help your mindset, how you feel. And then you can also perform better, whether that's sport or your day-to-day work. And then in terms of other habits, like spending time with your team, not just shooting out emails or text and asking people to do things. You need to be there to help people solve problems. And that makes everything more efficient because people know, hey, my leader, my boss is going to empower me. And they feel good about that. But if they hit a roadblock, they also know you're there for them to sit and say, hey, let's talk about how we can figure this out. You're actually not there to solve it for them. I think that's not the role of a coach or a leader, but you're there to be there for them, ask the right questions.
Guidance,
and normally they actually end up coming up with the solution. But they just need that support. You know, they need that. Just like you training these kids at Pingree, I see on your social media in the early morning, 5, 6 in the morning, you're training these guys. You're giving them the tools and the direction, but they actually have to do the work come up with the solutions, which is the actual completion of the workout.
That's it.
You know, you're there to guide them to do the right thing. So
100%
that's kind of the approach that I take too.
I love it. Absolutely love it, ladies and gentlemen. For future forward thinking here, let's think about this for a minute. 5-year prediction. Where do you think global footwear manufacturing is kind of headed in the next 5 years? What do you think?
I think footwear overall is probably becoming more automated because the digital world is moving fast. And when we can analyze data faster, we can make decisions faster, we can utilize automation better, and that doesn't matter where we're making the product, whether that's Vietnam, India, the Dominican Republic, even in the U.S. So I think efficiency will improve and enhance due to automation and digital, and that also helps the overall quality of the product. And I think the quality will enhance, and just the talent of people that are coming out of school, design school, engineering school, that is getting at a much higher level. So I believe that'll link to innovation. You'll see some crazy innovations out there. Like right now, Hyper Ice, which is like the gun that you can massage your muscles with. The Hyper Ice boot is now inside of one of the Nike shoes that you can buy and wear that shoe for recovery. So these ideas are going to advance so much compared to, like, you remember the days where I'm wearing the Air Force One right now, but in 1982, people wore the Air Force One to play basketball. Right. You know, it's a rather stiff
trust me,
rubber
I know.
sole. And you can see the advancements that have happened, and they're going to just get better and better and help with performance.
So this is how old I am, ladies and gentlemen. I played high school basketball in 1981. That's when I graduated high school. And I remember as a sophomore in like 1979, right, I asked my mom for a pair of basketball sneakers, right? And I said to Mom, I need a new pair of basketball sneakers to go play. She goes, well, how much are they? And what are they? I said, Mom, Converse Chucks, everybody's wearing these. There's just rubber and canvas. She goes, well, how much are they? I said, Mom, they're $20. She goes, ooh, $20, that's a lot of money. 1979, 1980, right? And now here we are in the footwear industry. There are so many innovations and things that have been done.
Well, here we are. You're wearing Kobe Grinches right now.
Yes, indeed. I love the Kobe Grinches. That's a big advancement
from the Chuck.
Yes, absolutely. I love them. You know what I mean? Ladies and gentlemen, it's been my pleasure to have been with Derek Grundy today on Footprints. Please, if you like our content, make sure you subscribe to our podcast here on BevCam. Make sure you subscribe at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and make sure you also go to, if you want to be a guest on the show, www.footprints.com. Fill out the form, and we'll get in contact with you, and we'll have you sit and tell your story about who impacted you and who put the footprints on you. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, I thank my guest Derek Grundy, and I always leave you with this question: who left a footprint on you? Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah,
thanks,
boy.
brother. Thanks.
That was great.